Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is LB, the Realist, and this is Realistic Studios, where the realists are real. Thank you for joining me, and let there be light. So check this out. I first heard from the last American Vagabond on YouTube. He reported on a story done by Cheryl Atkinson, who is an author, journalist, and host of Full Measure, a show in which they talk about politics, current events, and apparently vaccinations. So she did a story on pediatric neurologist Dr. Andrew Zimmerman, who served as the expert medical witness for the government during the trial of a group of 5,000 autism/vaccine-related cases being heard. And during that time, he told Department of Justice lawyers that there were cases and exceptions in which vaccinations could in fact cause autism. They took this information, they hid it from the public, they neglected to tell the parents involved, and they began to misrepresent his own statements, Dr. Zimmerman's own statements. So during a group of 5,000 autism/vaccine-related cases being heard by Dr. Zimmerman, Dr. Zimmerman told DOJ lawyers basically that there were exceptions in which vaccinations could in fact cause autism. He said it was regressive brain disease with features of autism spectrum disorder. Dr. Zimmerman says when he told the Department of Justice, they fired him and kept the information from the parents and the public. The Department of Justice went on to misrepresent Dr. Zimmerman's findings, saying, "We know Dr. Zimmerman's views. There is no scientific basis for the connection between vaccines and autism." So Dr. Zimmerman told these people back then, I believe it was in 2007, June 18th, or June or July 18th of 2007, during this hearing, he told the Department of Justice lawyers that there were exceptions in which vaccinations could cause autism. They took that information, they hoarded it, they hid it from the public, and they misrepresented what he said. And most of those cases were lost, by the way. So the parents lost those cases, most of them anyway. So Robert F. Kennedy, who is he works at the Children's Health Defense, has filed a fraud complaint with the Department of Justice Inspector General. And I think it's noteworthy to point out that in 1988, Vaccine Court was created, and the Vaccine Court is a court in which basically they talk about vaccine-related illnesses and cases being brought up. And they actually have a fund that's actually paid for by American taxpayers that goes directly to people that win these cases, saying that vaccines caused a serious injury to their child or loved one. So they created this court in October 1988, 2 months before I was born. And to date, they've paid out $4 billion. And a lot of these cases include what they call encephalopathy, or a broad term used for brain disease, but they won't say autism. So to date, the CDC, or the Center for Disease Control, states unequivocally that vaccines do not cause autism. The Department of Justice and the Center for Disease Control and Pharma Group, Big Pharma, have absolutely no comments. They said they don't comment on cases such as these. So none of these people have anything to say. The story hasn't been widely reported. It did make The Hill, but Cheryl Atkinson was the author. So I'm actually surprised that The Hill put that out. But yeah, so I'll leave that in the description so you guys can check that out for yourselves. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but I have to look at people crazy, and I give them the side eye when they start calling you names like conspiracy theorists and crackpot. And when people are so quick to negate everything that you said or negate every fact that you brought up, or when they're so quick to point out that you're a Looney Tune, that's when I look at them more weird. Because if you know something with all your heart and soul, you know something to be a fact, you don't have to bend over backwards trying to prove said fact. It is what it is. A fact is just a fact. So it's just funny that all of these really pro-vaxxer people, you know what I'm saying, like they find it, they have to defend it so hard. So, you know what I'm saying, like, and I understand that there may be some people out there who are frightened and think that anti-vaxxers are people that don't subscribe to the idea that all vaccinations are safe, because I'm one of those people who feel as though, you know, just like Dr. Zimmerman said, there's certain exceptions in which vaccines could cause autism. There's certain people that have, you know, certain genome structure, or certain, you know, there's something about them that has a negative reaction to vaccinations, or certain kind of vaccinations, because there's different kinds of vaccines. You know, there's not just one vaccine. There's vaccines for this, vaccines for that, vaccines for that. You know what I'm saying? So there's different vaccines and there's different kind of people. And we have to be smart and cautious when we're injecting all of these different chemicals into our system. Because in reality, a lot of our food that we ingest, a lot of our drinks that we drink, a lot of this shit is not fully regulated. And it's not been studied throughout the years. Like, we haven't had Monster Energy for 20 years. We don't know what the effects of these energy drinks are going to be, you know, way into the future. You know, like, a lot of this stuff is rarely regulated, especially now with the partial government shutdown. A lot of our regulations are not being, they're not being carried out because of cuts to the budget, because of lack of personnel, all this bullshit about a wall, and we can't even have basic regulations in place for the safety and security of American citizens. And this is one of those cases where it absolutely applies. Because they say that we have all the study, we have a lot of studies on vaccinations already, but obviously we don't have enough. Obviously there's still arguments out there, and there's still, you know, there's still information to be gathered. Because I don't think they've done full studies on this. And to have such an aggressive campaign against anti-vaccine is very suspicious to me. Very suspicious. And then when you learn stuff like they have a whole vaccine court and they have a whole fund in which they pay people out for these kind of things all the time. So there are serious injuries related to vaccinations. It does happen. A lot of the times it's related to encephalopathy. Encephalopathy. That is so hard to say. Jesus Christ. Say that 3 times fast. Which is a broad term for brain disease. Again, people are paid out for these things. So, I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, but I do honestly believe there is something going on, because there wouldn't be a whole fund set up for people that are damaged because of vaccines if vaccines weren't in fact unsafe, or at least unsafe for a certain percentage of individuals who take them. So again, we need more studies on this. We need more dialogue. We need to stop bullying people who subscribe to the notion of anti-vaccine. All they are people that don't want to inject diseases, small amounts of diseases into their bodies, because there are cases, and I've heard of people taking vaccines and then getting sick directly after. Really sick. You know, I've heard of people not taking vaccines and being fined for years. And here's one of my logics, and maybe this doesn't make any sense to you, but in my brain, this is how I'm thinking of it. Who's making who unsafe? I don't have any illnesses. I don't have any problems. But you want me to inject a problem and an illness into me, a small amount of it, so that I don't get said illness and problem later on. and infect other people. But you get sick all the time and you get vaccines. Aren't you, in fact, more dangerous to the public than a person who doesn't take vaccines? Now, I'm not saying that I'm against all vaccinations. I'm not. There are very good vaccinations out there that we do, in fact, need and that are pertinent. There are different types of vaccinations. But I'm saying we need to be cautious about what we're injecting in our bodies. We need to have more information about what we're doing and injecting in our bodies. And we need to stop listening to the same people who continuously lie to us day and day and day after day. And we need to come to our own conclusions. We need to do our own scientific research. Really, we got to do our own scientific research and come to our own conclusions, because a lot of the times we can't really, we got to take what they say with a grain or two of salt. We really do, people. So let me know what you guys have to think about this subject in the comment section below. Do you think I'm a crackpot? And if you think so, well, I think you're a crackpot for not questioning everything. Because that's all I'm doing. Now, if I got a disease or something, I would take a vaccine. Or if I felt like I needed to take a vaccine, I would take a vaccine. But I'm not one of these people that are getting vaccinated every single year for common colds and flus. And I've gotten sick, but I haven't, it hasn't been that bad. I feel like I've only gotten sick maybe a couple times in the last 5-6 years or something like that. Mostly just a common cold, you know what I'm saying? And there's only a couple times I've gotten really sick where I was throwing up all night. That was like in 2016. That was for a day. I had it. And then, I think when the swine flu was going around, what was that? 2000, when was the swine flu going around? Everybody was catching that. I was like, it was probably like 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, or maybe 9, 10 years ago. I was like 2021. I think I caught the swine flu. I didn't even go to the hospital for it. The only reason I think I say I caught it is because one of our close family friends downstairs that lived downstairs from us at the time, me and my family, the lady downstairs caught it. And she went to the hospital. They said she had swine flu. And then I caught something very similar. I had the exact same symptoms as she did. So I only assumed that I had caught the swine flu. But anyways, with all that being said, like the video if you like, share, comment, subscribe, so I can keep bringing you truth, news. And again, let me know what you guys have to think, or let me know what you guys have to say about this subject in the comment section below, because I really want to know where you guys stand on vaccinations. Until next time, remember to love, peace, and light. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.